A military helicopter and a passenger jet collided near DC airport, and there are presumably no survivors. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a military Black Hawk helicopter colliding with a passenger jet from American Airlines with between 60 and 70 passengers on board near DC airport. Now, what happened, from what I'm able to read, is that the jet was landing at DCA, Reagan Airport, and as the plane is approaching the runway, the helicopter gets in the way, gets in the flight path, gets in the landing path, and they collide. Now, before we get into the video, I do have video of the actual crash. Before we get into videos and updates and whatnot, I just want to say rest in peace to all those who died. Prayers out to their families. As I said from the beginning, there are presumably no survivors. I mean, when you see the crash, it's an explosion. I mean, and you're kind of high up, so I don't think you're going to be able to make it. When I was first covering this, when it broke live on the stream last night, and if you guys were there, shout out to you for being there. I appreciate y'all. When I was covering it, I was reading some things that said that there were some people rescued from the water. I think they might have said that 4 were rescued from the water. Well, what I think they wanted to say was that 4 were recovered. They have recovered quite a few bodies. We're up to about 23 to 24 bodies recovered as of me recording this video right now. But survivors, there have been no survivors recovered, and there are not expected to be any, unfortunately. And again, prayers out to the families. May those who died rest in peace. Now, what we got to do here is get into the actual crash video. I don't think there's sound here. Yeah, there's no sound. So you can see this is not what you want to see over here. You want to look right here in the center of the screen, right in the center. That's where you want to look, because that's where it's happening. You can kind of see, it looks like the plane is descending, going toward the runway, and you can see the helicopter right there. That's what it looks like, and you're going to see those, unfortunately, converge. All right, see? You see them, and then as they connect, explosion. Now, this really unfortunate, really tragic situation, I don't know exactly how that happened. Air traffic control, perhaps? People are saying, hey, elephant in the room, who do we have as air traffic control? Are we trying to hire the best people? What's going on with that? That could be a weak point, or it could be a weak point with the helicopter itself. Pete Hegseth, our new defense secretary, came on TV and said that this is a routine type thing. They know what they're doing, their experience. So somebody dropped the ball somewhere. This is not a thing that would just happen if everybody's experienced, everybody knows what they're doing, and there was nothing that went wrong. Something went wrong. Now let's get to a news clip here. And of course, I will link to everything in the box. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
We are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation. At this point, we don't believe there are any survivors from this accident. And we have recovered 27 people from the plane and 1 from the helicopter. The district office of the medical examiner has lead on reuniting these bodies and these people with their loved ones.
And as far as the Black Hawk helicopter, there were 3 crew members on board, from what I'm able to read. And on the plane, they said 64 passengers.
And we will continue to work to find all the bodies and collect them and reunite them with their loved ones. We should also acknowledge that the Virginia Medical Examiner and the Army Medical Examiner are involved in this operation, and a very important part of getting people identified.
Last night, if you live in the D.C. area, you would know that this was a clear night last night.
Now, this is Sean Duffy. He has replaced Buttigieg as the transport secretary.
The helicopter was in a standard pattern. If you live in the D.C. area, you'll see helicopters up and down the river. This flight pattern is seen oftentimes when you live in D.C. This was a standard flight pattern last night as well. The American Airlines flight coming into land was in a standard flight pattern as it was coming into DCA. So this was not unusual.
So, but see, Sean Duffy, okay, the question is, if they're both doing what they're supposed to be doing, standard flight pattern, as far as the helicopter. Standard flight pattern as far as a plane landing at DCA. If they're both doing the right thing, then who was wrong? Who is responsible for trying to get in the way and say, hey, you can't be here right now, or you need to get out the way and let them do what they got to do? Who's responsible for that?
With military aircraft flying the river and aircraft landing at DCA. And again, if you live in the area, you'll see that frequently with those two aircraft working together. As many of you have reported, we have located the two aircrafts. The fuselage of the American airline plane was inverted. It's been located in 3 different sections. It's in about waist deep water. So that recovery is going to go on today as that recovery takes place of the fuselage of the aircraft. NTSB is going to start to analyze that aircraft, partner with the FAA with all of the information we have to get the best results possible for the American people.
And of course, we got to get the black box from both the helicopter and the passenger jet. We got to get those. But I'm not quite sure that's going to really tell us anything. I think what we need to really do is see what's going on with air traffic control. That might have been the weak link. But again, this is just me guessing. This story is pretty fresh. Let's continue.
To say that safety is our expectation. Everyone who flies in American skies expects that we fly safely, that when you depart an airport, you get to your destination. That didn't happen last night. And I know that President Trump, his administration, the FAA, the DOT, we will not rest until we have answers for the families and for the flying public. You should be assured that when you fly, you're safe.
That's like the worst thing that could ever happen. That's a nightmare come true, because when you're on the plane, I mean, you're in a very vulnerable situation. If anything goes wrong, that could be the end of your life. So that's really nightmare fuel. And I hope we get down to the bottom of it for the families, of course, so they're able to understand what happened, so they're able to get closure. And also, so it doesn't happen anymore. Because if it happened one time and people are like, well, we don't know what happened, and it was a standard thing. If it happened one time, then it can happen again if we don't get down to the bottom of it.
Thank you.
I don't want to say too much on the communication between the helicopter in the tower and the airline in the tower, but I will say this: there was communication. It was I would say standard communication. So there was not a breakdown, if that's your question, in communication between the military helicopter and the American airline flight. There was communication between the aircraft and the tower.
Was the plane aware there was a helicopter in the area?
I would say the helicopter was aware that there was a plane in the area.
Both aircraft are in the water. The focus now is rescuing people, and that's what all of our personnel are focused on. And Chief, I think he's given a pretty good description, but if there's anything else you want to add, Chief?
I would just say that the boats are out doing searches. We have divers on both aircraft, and they're searching the aircraft at this point.
Right. Yes.
Have any survivors been found, and how many bodies have been recovered?
All we can confirm tonight is the number of people on each aircraft, 64 people on the American Airlines plane and 3 people on the military helicopter. And we can't provide any more information about recovery efforts.
And this happened 9 p.m. Eastern last night, which was the 29th, Wednesday, the 29th. All right, so that's that. So, again, rest in peace to all those who died. Prayers out to their family. A tragedy. But all we know right now is that there wasn't anything abnormal, but there was something abnormal. Everything was pretty much on point, but there was something that went wrong. I want to know from y'all, what do you think? You think air traffic control, the Black Hawk helicopter with experienced crew, the plane with probably an experienced crew on board? Which one of those things do you think failed? Because something failed. We can't just say it was nothing, because you don't have 64 people on the plane die and 3 in the helicopter die when nothing went wrong. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about the plane crash? Do you think that this was intentional? Could have been a terror attack? Could have been a hack? Could have been air traffic control not doing their job? What do you think went wrong here? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. There's something that went wrong. I just not really cool. I think I'm leaning more toward air traffic control. That's where I'm leaning. Because how else could this happen? How else could it happen? They didn't say anything about a mechanical failure or nothing like that. They said they were communicating. So somebody was not communicating with the tower. And if they were communicating with the tower, they did not have enough time to be able to react. I don't know. Something is wrong. Something happened. And I think the people up in the tower might be the issue. And if not that, then we got a serious problem. We really got to figure out what happened here. I don't think the helicopter or the plane would have liked for the explosion to happen. So we got to get down to the bottom of it. And again, we need to do that, not just to get justice for the families of those who died, but also to not have this same thing happen again. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that is all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.